English learning is that you need to remember it takes time. You need to be patient. You need to be persistent with your learning. Okay, in my opinion and through my experience with a lot of students, it takes at least 6 months so that you can be able to communicate fluently in a basic conversations with this language, I mean English. And let's jump into our lesson. Okay, let's see what we have over here. Okay, why before learning or before starting anything, we need to find the reason why we want to do that kind of stuff. Okay, more specifically English. Why do you want to study English? Let's pause the video for a moment and think about the reason why you want to study. You need to have a solid reason, the reason that support you in your learning journey. Why do you want to study this language again? For me, in the past, I want to study this language because I want to be able to communicate with whoever I want in any situation that I fall into fluently. Okay, so that was my goal, my solid goal in the past. So whatever I do, whatever I learn, whatever the method that I've been applying, I always stick with the reason why I want to study. Okay, you need to find the reason why you want to learn this language. You can learn it for examinations, for example TOEIC test, for example the IELTS test. Okay, find the reason of learning for yourself. Let me give you an example. For example, you want to go to Bến market. So that's your ultimate goal. You want to go to Bến market. So every step that you make will support the ultimate goal. Every road or street that you plan to go on need to support your ultimate goal. Any road that you take need to be the shortest or the most convenient road to get to the ultimate goal, Bến Thành. Okay, right? So I hope that you can define your ultimate goal. If you couldn't define, don't study. Okay, because with the blur goal setting, you will not be able to achieve anything. Okay, so we move to the next question. How to get to Bến Thành market, right? You define the place, the destination that you want to go. Now you need to find the how. Okay, how to get there. So in this video, I'll show you the way that I achieve my goal of learning English. And I hope that you can get some of the ideas through the video. Okay, how? So the how are steps that get you to the why. Okay, good. All right, so let's see what we have over here. Okay, I have a circle of language. I call it a circle of language, English. In this circle, I have two things, two matters that I need to learn and to master it. That are vocabularies and grammar structures. Okay, so it is quite simple. Think about this. Think about this. Vocabulary. Vocabulary is, for example, is a pen, right? This is a pen. Is a vocabulary. Vocabulary is a single piece of information. Single piece of information. And the grammar structures. Grammar structure, they are the ways that you connect those vocabularies, those information together, make it become a meaningful sentence. That's it. That's it. Okay. Think about that. Think about that. That's simple, right? But the way to understand that kind of simple exam, right? People often like wanna get a shortcut for their learning, but it will never get to any place or anywhere. Don't take a shortcut. Learning is a journey. It takes time to get you to the place. For example, Benteng Market. You define the road to get there, but it still takes time to get there. You can get there in 30 minutes. You can get there in 40 minutes. But it's impossible to get there in 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes if you are far away from that. In English situation, if you are the beginner, okay. But the problem is how to learn this kind of knowledge, in my opinion, and through my experience. I divided the learning process into 3 steps. For any vocabulary, for any grammar structure, I divided my learning into 3 steps. First, you need to know the vocabulary. You need to know the grammar structure. For example, come back to the pen. So you write down, is a pen, is a noun. It means bút viết in Vietnamese. And then you stop. Okay, that's most of the people do. Most of the learners that they do like that. Okay, they stop at when they know it already. But we need to go a bit further to be able to make sure that our brain get more familiar with the word, the vocabulary, or the grammar structure that we are learning. So I move up to the next step that I call understand. Understand here, it means that you need to understand the way of using it in a sentence. For example, I say, This is a pen. That's a sentence, right? That's a sentence. Or I say, pen is the thing that you can use for writing. So in the first sentence, this is a pen. Pen is an object. And in the second sentence, pen is the thing that you can use for writing. Pen becomes subject, right? Subject. Yeah, so that's the way to understand the word. When you make a sentence, you further understand the way of using the word as well as the grammar structure. Okay, and then you go to the last step, practice. Practice. You take the advantage of conversation with your friends, with yourself. You open the camera, practice talking about the word, the grammar that you just learned. Or you can practice with Vtenglish. In our conversations, we'll practice with students a lot. The learning part, the understand part, mostly done by students at home as their homework. Come to the conversation. The, most of the time will be spent for practicing. Okay. All right. So I hope that you understand the way of learning. For now, this slide. Okay, so as you can see over here, we have listening, reading, speaking, and writing. So in today's video, I'll mostly focus on listening, reading, and speaking. For writing, we'll not focus on, because as the beginner, you don't learn to become a writer, don't you? And I think in most of the situation in the working environment, if it's not too formal, you can use the spoken grammars to write your email or texting with your friends. Okay, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. For listening, reading, and speaking, you need to find the topic that you like to listen to read, and to speak about. Need to find a topic that you like. For example, you're a woman and you like cooking in Vietnam. I mean, you like cooking, right? And you have a bunch of knowledge about cooking stuff in Vietnamese. So when you learn English, please start with cooking videos. Please start with cooking videos. Please start with cooking articles. Please start with cooking conversations. Because you have a little bit, or a lot in some situation, knowledge about a field, it's easier for you to learn with another language, because you can, your mind, your brain already have some kind of knowledge or awareness about the topic, right? So start you're learning with the topic that you are familiar with in Vietnamese, or the topic that you are good at in Vietnamese, and especially you need to like it. Okay, you like it, because most of my students are working people, so every day they have like exhausted 8-10 hours at work already. So learn should be fun. So to be fun, find a topic that you like and you are familiar with. Okay. For listening, actually I have a really good link of learning over here, like a YouTube video. But I mean, like for this video, because I don't know your level, so I will not like play the video of listening. But I already tell you the fundamental of learning. Find the topic that you like. Oh, and one more thing, that's find the topic that's suitable with your level. Okay, that's suitable with your level. Don't find the topic is too difficult for your level, your current level. Okay, I think you're also aware about this one. It's just a remind. For reading and speaking, okay, so for reading it's important to understand the way that you can learn vocabulary, and as well as the grammar structure. For example, I have here an article. Okay, so let me read this one first. Time flies. I've been staying in the US for nearly 5 months for my business trip. It's tough when you have to stay alone, far away from your country, without friends and the living environment that you are so familiar with. But it's also a good opportunity for myself to get more experiences about the US, a more technological advanced country than my Vietnam. Learn more about their culture, their people, the way they work, the way they treat each of the individual. Find the article that you like. Remember, find the article that you like, and then you read it. You read about it. Read the whole conversation without understanding vocabularies. Okay, find the article that you like. Read the whole conversation. Just need to, during the reading time, you need to check the pronunciation way. For example, you don't know how to pronounce the word flights, you check the Oxford Dictionary. Remember, Oxford Dictionary or Cambridge Dictionary, it's up to you. Check the dictionary about the pronunciation. Okay, so after one time of reading, 2 times, 3 times, it's up to you. You need to understand the meaning of the word, right? And also the pronunciation. You check, like I mentioned, you check the word over here. You see that, oh, flies, or time flies. You check the meaning of it. Okay. The third time of reading, for example, you list down all of the vocabulary that you have. For example, the first time of checking vocabulary, you have 10 different vocabularies. Okay, so you check the dictionary. You check the dictionary. Okay, you find the meaning of it in Vietnamese. What kind of verb? Sorry, what kind of word is that? Is a noun? Is a noun? Is an adjective? Is an adverb or whatever? So that means you just completed the knowing part. Okay, remember 3 steps of learning: know, understand, and practice. For the understand and practice, we do a little bit later. So then you read again. You read the whole conversation again and find, like, after the second time of checking, how many vocabularies left? I mean, how many vocabularies that you still don't remember? You read until the time that you don't have any more vocabulary. Okay. After reading, you know that for all of the new vocabularies for the first reading time over here, you know it already. So time to understand about it. You make a sentence. You don't need to write out or anything. You make a sentence by speaking. For example, I have the word time flies. It means time goes too fast. Okay, so you say this is some kind of expression. You say, "Oh, time flies. I'm already 20 years old. I'm quite old already. I need to improve my English as soon as possible." So that's kind of way to make a sentence. It's a weird sentence. It's a long, short sentence. It doesn't matter. Okay, as long as you can understand it. You can use it as the way it is. I mean, use it as at its function. Okay, and then you practice it. You practice. You turn on your camera and speak to yourself. That's also a good way, or a mirror. But it's better if you can turn on some kind of camera to record it. After recording it, you watch yourself again and correct all of the mistakes that you make. Watching yourself again is really important because by that way you can know which grammar structures mistakes, which pronunciation mistakes that you make, and you can improve it. Watch yourself to realize the thing that you've done wrong and the things that you've done well. Okay, I think that's it for reading. That's just simple, right? But it takes time. Let's take a look at the two articles over here. As you can see, the yellow highlighted words are repeated words from the two articles. So on the first one we have government. The second one we have government. People, we have people over here. So what I mean is that if you learn the first article well, you will be able to remember the words in that article. And believe me, in the next article, you also see that word again somewhere in the future. If you learn it carefully through 3 steps that I mentioned, you will be able to remember it. And in the future, if you see it again, it's a good opportunity for you to practice it, okay? To remind it, to refresh your memory. That's the way of learning. For example, in case of myself, right, it took a half a day for me to complete an article with the method that I'm talking about. But through the time, but by the time, the learning time for an article will significantly reduce because I learn carefully for every single article. And the word that you can see over here, it is repeated. So in the subsequent articles, I don't need to learn that much. So I hope that you understand, right? If you just learn like you learn a vocabulary, you know it, you move to the next article, you'll never remember anything. You'll like learn the new thing every day. That's not good. you need to practice what you learn every day. I think that's better. You learn a new thing every day because you just know the word and then you forget it. You don't practice, you don't understand. By the time you'll feel tired, you feel discouraged, and then you'll give up. Okay, so learn in detail. Get it? Good. All right. Let's come back to our slide over here. We have speaking. Yes, in speaking you can learn through conversations for sure, and like I mentioned, find the video, find the topic of speaking that you like on YouTube or on any online channel, and learn it by yourself, the topic that you like, the topic that you are familiar with. Find the topic that you like. Let's start off with that learning idea. Okay, so for example, I have a conversation over here. I talk about this conversation with camera, with the video recording, or with my friend. The best way is to find your learning partner and learn with them. Okay, so for this one, again, the fundamental idea is that find the topic that you are familiar with first when you start your learning journey. So in the last slide I have over here, I'd like to show you the way that you can learn with Vtenglish. In Vtenglish lessons, we are applying the flipped classroom method. To understand the flipped classroom, you need to understand about the traditional one. For traditional classroom, let's think about the time you were in your high school or secondary or even primary school, right? You learn the vocabularies, you learn the grammar structures in class, okay, in your classroom with the teachers, and when you come back home you practice without anyone who instruct you. So that's a problem, because you don't need a teacher for sharing your knowledge, especially in the modern life or in the internet day like today. Okay, you can learn all of these things at home through internet. It's even better and it's even faster. It will encourage your curiosity and your ability of self-learning. In flipped classroom, it's a different story. You learn at home everything. Anyway, Vtenglish will send you all of the learning materials that you need. Videos, teaching materials, learning tips. You learn at home. You get a vocabulary. You get a grammar structure of a topic. And then you come to the class. You practice with the instructor. Okay? So I hope through this video you got some of the idea of learning by yourself at home. Hope to see you soon in our future lesson. Bye bye.